What's up, family? This is Sunday 7 with AN-T-NEES. It is time to do a tour. See how things are going around here in this semi-homestead of mine. You know, this is an area I had never shown you before. This is like the little composting bin I have. I bought it a few years back, and as you can see, it's falling apart. But this is where I put all of my grass clippings, food scraps in here, everything in terms of food scraps with the exception of meats. I don't put that in there. But I do turn this composting bin from time to time to kind of get that cooking up, and as you can see, we've got that going on. But deep down inside there, we've got black, super black gold soil, and I will be pulling a majority of that out of here and putting it inside my garden. But let me go ahead and put this back, because that little Jack Russell I have, he's ridiculous. He would come over here and just dig through this, man, and have a field day on it. So let me go ahead and put that back together and ensure that he doesn't get in it. So up in this corner right beside the composting bin, you can see bulging out the sides of it, because I tell you, this soil over here in this area where this composter is, it is just so rich in nutrients. I've got a raspberry bush growing in the corner there, and one that just voluntarily came up right here, and then you see all these wild strawberries around it. Composting bin is feeding all that. And right beside it here is a blueberry bush, and it's been there, and it is just doing lovely, loaded with blueberries. I'm gonna have to make sure I cover that up to keep the birds off of it, but it's doing fabulous in this corner. Right next to it is a Nanking cherry bush, also a black tartarium cherry tree. I've had this tartarium cherry tree now for about 4 years, and it looks like it's going to produce some fruit this year. So I'm excited about that. I had to also get a different type of sweet cherry tree to help pollinate it, and I'll be showing you that here momentarily. But it's doing awesome, and this Nanking cherry bush is just thriving. Now it does have some cherries on it. Let me see if I can get in a little closer there and show you one right there. And then we've got more here on that one. You can see the little cherries right here coming in. And this will be its first year of producing fruit as well. So I'm excited about that, and it's got a whole lot other fruit on the back and bottom of it. So I'm just hoping the birds don't eat me out. Hoping the birds don't eat me out. You know, not those birds, but these flying around in the air birds. You know, when you've got a good garden going, they have a field day. So what I've done to try to prevent a lot of the bird eating of my fruit is I am keeping lots of bird baths full of water, because typically they eat on your fruit when they're thirsty and they need water. So I'm keeping bird feeders hanging around. I've got bird baths sitting around with water to keep them, you know, hydrated. So it'll kind of, you know, keep them from eating on my fruit this year, because everything is in bloom so beautifully. I'm serious. It's just gorgeous. And then, of course, we've got pineapples here. You know, I've gotten one pineapple since I've had these. I just keep them because I love the greenery. I don't really look towards them putting out any fruit because it's just, this climate is just not conducive for the amount of hours it takes for it to stay warm and them to push out a pineapple. And then I have to keep them in the pots, take them in when it's cold, and bring them back out. So that kind of hinders their growth cycle. So yeah, I just do it for the greenery to help decorate the garden. More blueberries, more blueberries. The blueberries are just going. More pineapples. This one is a lemon tree. This is a, I believe it is a Eureka lemon tree. Yes, it is a Eureka lemon tree. Let me get in close so you guys can see that. Yep. So that's my Eureka lemon tree. And moving right along. Let's go around this way first. As you can see, I've got lots of flowers, lots of roses, stuff that's blooming, flowers going to bring in lots of pollinators. So in this rose bed, this circular rose bed, I'll back up a bit so you can really see that it is a circular rose bed. Inside, you can hear my wind chimes going off too. Beautiful. When the wind blows, it's just so soothing, that sound. But here is an apple tree, Granny Smith apple tree, and you can see that it is just loaded with blooms. Loaded with blooms. Loaded with blooms. Just full of blooms. I'm excited about that because the last few years it did just a little bit, but this year it is just off the chain. Just beautiful. And then I've got strawberry plants scattered here and there. You can see I've got that little tower container full of strawberries. Also hanging baskets that have cherry strawberries in it. I need to do some watering because they're kind of limp. And more rose bushes. In this same bed is a Santa Rosa plum tree. This one is about, I believe it's about 2 years old, but putting out fruit this year. I'm excited about it. So as you can see, there we have fruit on this one. There is a fruit. There are fruits right here. Yeah, it's full. Let's go inside. You can see the fruit here. All of that, it's just fruiting up real nicely. I'm excited. More fruit coming along here. More fruit. Excited about that. So I cannot wait. I just need to keep, again, the birds off of my plum trees and my cherry trees and so forth. Okay, so this is a side shot or view of my vegetable garden. Side view of the vegetable garden going on right there. And I've got plenty of vegetables going, and it's getting better. You know, back in, believe it was the beginning of the end of February, I was out filming my very first video. And yeah, the garden was just a hot mess. So things are coming along really great. I'm excited about it. Yeah, pardon my dogs. One of the neighbors is walking their dog and they are having a fit over that dog. But yeah, the vegetable garden coming along really good. More strawberries in hanging baskets. More strawberries. Lots of flowering plants to encourage those pollinators to come in. Here by the shed, I've got 2 different varieties of oregano growing here in this bed, as well as surrounded by iris. These are irises, okay? Here we have nasturtiums. These are the trailing kind, so I'm looking forward to those really just falling over, and then I'm going to try and train them up the little poles here. This is a tree collar, and I tried my hand at it, and as you can see, it is seeding up. Lots of seeds, so I'll have plenty of seeds from this tree collar. Okay, and then in there I've been kind of plucking away at that red mustard there, that giant red mustard. I give a lot of that to my birds, my chickens to eat on. More lilies in this bed here, same thing. Okay, and here there's mint. It's mint, a little small pot of curly kale. And as you can see, my grapevine is pushing out. It is leafing up, getting ready to drape across in front of the shed there. I'll back up a little bit so you can truly get a full view of what I mean by it really pushing out, blooming, coming into bloom. I'm excited about that as well. Again, just different little plants everywhere. It's just so soothing and beautiful. I love it. More roses. Roses, roses, roses. Flowers that's going to help bring in pollinators. And this is, I can't remember the variety of this pomegranate. I can tell you though, it's not a wonderful. And I actually have a wonderful. I just purchased it this year. And I got it because this one has not produced fruit for me yet. I'm hoping it will now that I do have the wonderful variety here with it. So I'm looking forward to this one producing some fruit. But it is getting pretty big. But I just need for it to give me some fruit. Okay. So moving right along. We'll keep making our way around. Another Granny Smith apple here. I think this one is less than a year old. I just bought it sometime this year, or actually the end of last year. But it's fairly new, so definitely do not expect a whole lot of production out of it. You know, you get these little fruits that do come on the tree, but no, don't expect them to actually produce any fruit when they're that young. But this is a Granny Smith. Yeah, the tag has faded, but I can tell you it's a Granny Smith. Okay, moving on around. Another brand new fruit tree I have here. This is actually I believe a Red Haven peach tree. Let's see. Yeah, yes, that's exactly what it is. Red Haven peach tree. So I'm excited to have that one in on my property as well. Waiting on it to fruit, but yeah, new, not expecting any fruiting to really occur much this year. It does have a few little fruits here and there on it, but I don't expect anything much else from this tree. Still new. Okay, we'll continue on around. This monstrosity here I've had for several years, and I don't think it's going to fruit this year. I don't know, it could be because of the way that I cut into it. I've been trying to bring it down a little bit because it's just gotten so big, but it's not fruiting either. A lot of the limbs didn't even push out any leaves, so I'm not gonna worry about it. It'll come back next year and do its thing. So we'll keep moving on. Another peach tree. Just a regular peach tree here. Oh, I think I bought it from big box store, Home Depot. You know, the typical peach trees they sell. So that one, but it is this one is at least 3 years old. I had it in a pot, and I accidentally hit it with the riding lawnmower, almost ran over it. So I took it out of the pot, put it in the ground so it could recover better, and it's doing really well. It's got quite a bit of fruit on it also. My thing is, again, keeping the birds and the squirrels off of the fruit. I'd really love to get some fruit this year, but yeah, it has quite a bit of fruit on it, as you can see. It's quite a bit of fruit on it. Yeah. Okay, there you have it. Fruit, more fruit, and more fruit. So yeah, it's doing really well. All right, and moving right along, here we have a Meyer lemon. It's been here on the property. It was actually in a pot, and I put it in ground this year. So I'm looking for some great things out of it now that it's in ground, and it should start to push out with leaves here very soon. So no worries with that. Okay, so let's keep moving. All right, down this trellis here are my scoponomes, a mixture of scoponomes and muscadines. Okay, so they're starting to push out as well. Very early, but we see activity, and that's always a good thing. We see activity going on. We keep moving here, and the other. And as you can see, I've got the trellis for them pretty low because I don't want to be jumping up. I'm short, so I need it to be low so I can get to the fruit. And yeah, next we have, that I just put in ground this year, is my Satsuma orange. The Satsuma orange. Yeah, I actually got a few fruit off of this bad boy last year. I got a few fruit off of it, so I know I'm looking forward to it really producing as well, especially being in ground now. It's going to do its thing. So that's my Satsuma orange. Okay, moving right along. Move out the way, Sam. All right, what we have here is, what do we have here? A Gala apple tree. Gala apple tree. This one is about a year old. And I bought this tree specifically to help pollinate my Fuji apple tree. But it's doing well. Lots of fruit on it, and the fruit is healthy. Very healthy. Okay? So I'm excited about that. But this is the Gala apple tree. All right. Moving on, moving on. Let's keep going. Here's the Fuji. Here's my Fuji. Here's my Fuji. And that Gala is actually doing what it was designed and brought here to do, and that is to pollinate my Fuji apple, help pollinate my Fuji apple. And as you can see, this sucker is loaded. It is loaded with fruit. I am super happy about that. Just look. Look. Just covered in fruit. Covered. You know, prior to me getting that Gala apple, it didn't do anything. It did not, no fruit. But I brought that Gala in to help cross-pollinate, and it's just amazing. Doing an amazing job. Look. Wonderful. I can't wait. Can't wait to bite into one of those suckers. Yes. All right. Let's keep moving. All right. We will keep moving, keep moving. Crepe myrtles, crepe myrtles. I cut them down every year. Daylilies, bed of daylilies. Crepe myrtles will bloom out here pretty soon. They're already starting to budge out on the side with some of them. But crepe myrtles, daylilies. This was a jasmine plant that I bought. I thought it was perennial, but I guess not. But guess what? It won't do anything. I will dig it up and put me another fruit tree there and put some pollinators, flowering plants around the base of it. So no worries. We keep moving right along. Keep moving right along. All right. So we're going to take a trip through the gate. Take a trip through the gate. And let's go and take a look at my other plum tree here. Yep. Another Santa Rosa plum. And it is absolutely loaded with fruit. Look. Just loaded. Loaded, loaded, loaded. Loaded. I'm actually going to perform an air layer on this one. Yep, I've already identified where I'm going to do the air layer. It's actually going to be on this particular branch here. So I'm going to try the Lead Farmer 73 method. Shout out to Lead Farmer 73. I'm going to do that hot dog method and try my first air layer on that branch. But there you go. Lots of fruit. Lots of fruit. Yep, loaded with fruit. Loaded. Can't wait. Making preserves, jellies, the whole schmear. Can't wait. Also at the base of this Santa Rosa plum tree, another bed of iris. And the thing about the iris is that they bloom for a short period of time, but they're absolutely beautiful when they do come out. The blooms come out. Absolutely beautiful. And I also want you to take note. Check this out. Asparagus. Got asparagus growing at the base of my Santa Rosa plum. Isn't that something? Just food. Food everywhere. Look at that. Fruit. Look at those plums. Look at that. Amazing. 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 Plums, plums, plums. All right, let's move on. Okay, roses, daylilies, roses, daylilies, roses, daylilies. This is another cherry tree. Yes, it is. Let's see. This is a Stella cherry tree. Bought it to help cross-pollinate that black tartarium over there. The first one I showed you, that black tartarium. It needed a sweet cherry to cross-pollinate from, so I got that Stella cherry tree there. Okay? All right, let's keep moving. Keep moving. We'll go back through the gate. And see what's happening on the other side of the property. Check this out, y'all. Look at my little Jack Russell. He is a trip. Can't you tell he is something else? He's really off the chain. Now, he's up there trying to get squirrels out the tree. He's just sitting there waiting on them to drop. Sitting there waiting on the squirrels to drop so he can have a field day. And he does this every day. I think they have like a little nest built up in the top of this tree somewhere. But he comes out here and he posts up, waiting on them to drop out the tree so he can go crazy. He's a mess. And his name is Chucky. So you can only imagine how he is with a name like Chucky. He lives up to that name, let me tell you. He's something else. All right, moving along. So I still have my deck project. Got to get it cleaned up and decked out because I really want to do some entertaining this year from my deck. I'm considering having a pergola built over the top of it. I'm still contemplating that. But yeah, I am going to do the cleaning up of it, get it nice and clean, pressure wash the back of my house, the whole schmear. All right. But this big tree right here is a version of a Japanese maple. More strawberries. I actually had strawberries in a basket hanging, and they, you know how they do, they grow, they have the little tendrils, they fall down and they root into the dirt and just keep going. This entire bed was loaded with strawberries, so I had to really just pull most of them out, and I put them in other containers. But yeah, just off the chain. And let me show you this. This is a wild thorned blackberry, and I'm assuming that the birds dropped a seed here and it's going, and I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna see just how well it does, see if it actually produces some fruit. I have a thornless blackberry, but I want to see how this particular blackberry does. So I've got a freebie here from seeds that birds have dropped. Got one there, looks like one coming up right there. Yep. So we'll see how that goes. And over on the side, of course, got lavender, sage, stinging nettle. These are black-eyed Susans. They're beautiful too when they come into bloom. Lemon balm in this pot. I've had it in that pot for a long time, and it just continues to come out. This is, I believe, Russian sage. It's beautiful when it's fully in bloom. Okay, let's keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. All right. More blueberries in baskets. Things need to be watered. Hostas in pots on the side of the deck. Gardenias in planters. They have lots of blooms on them also. I can't wait until those beautiful white flowers come out, and I love the smell of gardenias. But again, full of blooms, full of blooms, full of blooms. Beautiful. Will be beautiful once they come out. All right. Encore azaleas. They love this area because it stays moist quite a bit. Roses, roses, roses. This big stalky situation here is a seed again that I'm sure the birds came and carried over here. It's actually a turnip plant. So I just let it stay there. I'll eventually cut it down and feed it to the chickens, maybe harvest the seeds from it. But it's a turnip inside my rose bush. Okay? And more roses, hostas, more hostas, corbels. Can't remember the name of this one, but I've had it for many years as well in this pot. And when it comes out with the yellow flowers, it's beautiful. All right, what we have here, this stalky situation, these are actually hibiscus plants. They're gorgeous as well. Once they sprout out, they actually have the stalky, sticky thing at the top, but the ones I have are perennials. So what they do is they burst out from the base of the plant when it's that time for them to come out. Okay, this particular hibiscus pretty much keeps its leaves on all year, and it does its thing as well. So yeah. All right. So that's the hibiscus. More lilies, daylilies. More daylilies. More roses, knockout roses in pots. More strawberries, hanging strawberries. More hanging strawberries. So let's take a walk through this gate. Get that open. All right. Here we go. Okay. Daylilies. We've got elephant ears in this bed in the back, and more asparagus at the base of this Bartlett pear. It had a bit of fruit on it last year. This year it didn't really do anything. There may be one or two on here this year. There's some right there. But I am going to cut this one down. I don't want it to be that tall, so I will whack or cut the top out of it to make it smaller. I do not want my fruit trees to be towering trees. I want to keep them low. Okay. Next to it, another gardenia bush. In the bed also, I call them Jacob's ladder. This purple crawling plant here. And here is an Asian pear. Yes, an Asian pear. It has just a couple of fruit on it. Again, don't expect it to do much because this is pretty much its first year. So I'm excited about it. I plan on doing what's called an espalier design with this, to train it to actually grow along a trellis. So I'll do a video on that soon to come. I want it to be a very pretty plant growing or tree growing on a trellis. So I will demonstrate that in a video to come. All right. All right, just more stuff. Dogwoods, azaleas out in that bed. Rose of Sharon, more lilies, more knockout roses. This is the side street. Moving along into the front portion of the property. Yeah, moving along into the front portion of the property. You know, I have flanking each side of the entryway of the steps are the Japanese maple trees. Beautiful. And then as you can see, the towering hybrid tea rose bush. This thing was kind of stalky last year, so I kept feeding it that 511 fish food and trimming it, and it's gone berserk. One of the things I did discover, family, about 511, because of the nitrogen content in it, roses love it because they produce roses from new leaves coming on. And with that nitrogen in that 511, that little low level of nitrogen from the 511, they love it. And it allows the rose plant to continue to push out leaves, and as such, lots of roses. So that's what I feed my roses with now, 511. And it works. They love it. Makes them so healthy. All right, we'll continue to move on. Continue our tour. More lilies. Butterfly bush nestled up underneath a peach tree. Yep. And peach tree is full. Lots of fruit on it. This one is old. I've had it for many years. So it is doing well. Okay. Here we have, it's a grapefruit tree. Let me see. A Rio Red grapefruit. Rio Red. Just put it in the ground again this year. It was in a pot. It's maybe a year old. So I did get some fruit from it last year. I was surprised, and it was so good. Those grapefruits were so delicious. Loved it. So I'm looking forward to more fruit this year from this Rio Red grapefruit tree. Okay. And here we have a nectarine tree. Yep, I think I maybe have bought this from Walmart. It's 3 years old, and I had it in a pot. It was in one of those wooden barrel type pots, and it burst out of the bottom of that barrel and actually started rooting in the ground out of the pot. So I took it completely out of that pot, put it in the ground, and it's loving it. So yes, you can see that it is also loaded with fruit. Just loaded with fruit. Loving it being in ground. Roots are able to spread out and do its thing and get all the nutrients that it needs, and it is just performing super well. This is not a fruit tree, but it's a beautiful shrub. It's an orange blossom shrub. It blooms once a year with these yellow flowers on it that smells like oranges. So beautiful. But it blooms once a year. After the blooms fall off, it's done. So I have a short window to enjoy the blooms on that. This here is, let's see, a kumquat. I bought it when I was first looking for a kumquat plant, And it's one of those ones you don't really hear about, so I'm really curious to see what the fruit tastes like. Let me pull back on that. Let's see, get that back in focus for you. Yeah, it is called a marami kumquat. Never heard of it, but we'll see what happens. I also have a miwa in a pot on my deck. I can't wait for that one to get mature enough to start producing fruit. More knockout roses. This bed that looks a hot mess is a bed that's set up for my banana trees. You can see one of the banana trees is starting to bust out here already. Once I know that it's absolutely warm, I'll take all of these limbs and all this ground cluck cover from around the bananas, clear it out, and really start pounding them with fertilizer, because they are heavy feeders. Banana trees are. So I've got a Grand Nain up in there, a Rajipura up in there, oh my gosh, I can't think of the others that I've got in there, but it's several different types of banana trees in there. So, you know, I was telling you about the pomegranate over there that hasn't fruited for me. Here's the wonderful I told you that I had purchased, and it's lovely. It's not even a year old, so I know it is going to be magnificent. It's doing so well. So it is the wonderful variety. Okay. Here we have an elderberry bush. This was given to me by a co-worker, probably about 4 years ago. It was in a 1-gallon pot. It was growing wild in his yard. I was talking to him about elderberries and making elderberry cough syrup. And he says, oh my gosh, he said, that stuff grows so wild around where I live. I'll bring you some. And he brought me one in a 1-gallon pot, put it in the ground, and it went berserk. And it does produce elderberries. It has lots of elderberries on it every year. Last year, I plucked off so many elderberries and dried them and made elderberry syrup, cough syrup with it. Just amazing. Elderberry is such a beneficial berry for you to take, especially for upper respiratory situations. It's awesome. So yeah, that's my elderberry tree. And then my sad little Washington navel orange tree. I don't think it's going to make it because it's continuing to just dry up and look burn out on me. So no worries, I will start over again with it. But that's the Washington navel. My girls. My girls. Hey ladies. They're waiting on me to give them a treat. I'm gonna go and get some mealworms to give to them, and then go into the coop and see what goodies they got for me in terms of eggs. And if you notice the one bird down there, let me see if I can zoom in on her. She is molting, appears to be. See? Yeah, she's getting ready to molt. That's gonna be interesting. You know, this is my first full year of having chickens, and I love it. But yeah, Miss Lady is getting ready to molt. So I do know that when they molt, which they do at least once a year, if I'm not mistaken, they do not lay eggs during that time. They actually need all of that energy to put feathers back on the body. So I have to wait until they get feathered up again and able to lay eggs. So I'm hoping that they all don't molt at the same time. So here are more blueberries, more blueberries, more blueberries, and I plan on getting at least 3 more blueberry shrubs. This is my avocado. Seems to be struggling just a bit, but that's okay. It's going to come back. I've been working with it. It's called the Fantastic Avocado. So it is supposed to be cold hardy. But yeah, this one, I don't trust it. It won't sit out during the winter. I will bring it in during the winter, which is why I have it potted up. Okay. More blueberries, and then the garden. More planting to do in the garden. Okay. More planting. Rosemary, that's what that is. Carrots, those carrots have been there since last year. I just let them stay there. I'm waiting on them to bolt and flower because I love the flowers that come up on carrots. And here's the thornless blackberry that I was telling you all about. Thornless blackberry. And I will tell you, they are so evasive. You put a blackberry in the ground, they are going to sprout everywhere. See all these different blackberries coming up? I've actually shared blackberry plants with so many people. They just go crazy. All these blackberries coming up. But let me tell you, when they start blooming and pushing out those blackberries, oh my God, to die for. So delicious. As well as those strawberries. You see the beds of strawberries that I have. Lots of strawberries. Nothing like a fresh homegrown strawberry. More turnips. Again, voluntary seeding up. I plan on harvesting the seeds. I just bought my little hummingbird feeder this weekend, so I plan on setting it up and having hummingbirds hopefully come and feast on the juices from this feeder and help to keep bugs out of my garden, because hummingbirds do eat other types of bugs and so forth that come into your garden. So I'm trying to pull those hummingbirds in to help with that. But that's it, family. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. So much. I love you. And please continue to watch. Hit the subscribe button, like, and share. And with that, I will end this video, and hopefully someday soon I will do a live with you. But just trying to get my subscribership up before I start doing a few things. So, but it is coming. So please share with your friends, and more to come on many other videos. This channel is not only just about gardening, but it involves gardening, just so many different ways to provide for yourself. So you're going to absolutely see me doing some fishing videos, some hunting videos, the works. Okay? But peace and love to you. And again, thank you so much for stopping by. This is AN-T-NEES. I'm Sandy 7, and these are the Honky Tonk Chronicles.